So I thought I'd keep going through some of the old classic modules, and that's just what we're going to do. I'm thinking about the two C modules, C1 and C2, and we're going to talk a little bit about them today on Greyhawk Grognard. So, the two modules, C1 and C2, they're Hidden Shrine of Tamoachan and the Ghost Tower of Inverness. These are a pair of really classic modules that are really well received, even to this day, by a lot of gamers. I obviously got them way back in the day, and the thing about the C modules is they are the competition series of modules. In other words, they're designed to be run at like conventions and stuff like that. There are pre-generated PCs, there are points that you score for doing various things, and there are both there's the regular tournament part of the module, and then there's an expanded part of the module that you can use if you're running it in a regular campaign, at least in C1. The thing, I'm going to start here with C1. C1 is probably the better known of the two. It's got it's pretty hefty. It's got, how many pages is this thing? It's got no page numbers. What the heck? It looks like it's 32 pages. And it's got, as I said, the NPCs. It's got a separate illustration booklet, which was one of the things they were doing at TSR at the time. And it's got this really beautiful, ginormous map of the temple, the pyramid, and the dungeon. And it's got the artwork is just really great. Really brings that Central American feel to the thing. And that's really what gives this module its special place, is that it does have that. It's based on like Aztec and Mayan mythology and so forth. And in fact, one of the things about this module is that it actually made an enormous change to the World of Greyhawk in terms of bringing in the Olman pantheon, which is in fact a real life, I believe it's the Aztec pantheon. They have real gods and goddesses that were, or at least D&D treatments of real gods and goddesses. Mictlan, Tlazolotl, that's, never mind, I'm not going to do that. I am butchering the names. But it's really neat. The PCs find themselves, they're washed up on a shore, and they find this the pyramid, and they go into the dungeons and basically loot the place. But another thing about these NPCs is the background that the PCs have actually expands the World of Greyhawk setting too. For example, this is where the goddess Stern Alia comes from. One of the PCs in this module worships Stern Alia, who was later retconned to be the mother of Hieronius and Hextor, who were gods also in here. So in that respect, this module really had a very large impact on the setting, because it was obviously placed in the World of Greyhawk, because everything was placed in the World of Greyhawk at the time. On the whole, I really enjoy this. I mean, there's a lot of unique monsters. There's a really nice, can I make it? Picture of a mummified centaur. This was the first module that had the Gibbering Mouther in it, and the Nereid. So it's very, very good to do. There's tips in there on how to run it as both a tournament module and a regular campaign module. If it's a tournament module, once the players reach a certain room, you can say that they're safe. On the whole, it's really, really well done. And I know a lot of people who liked it a lot. Then we also have the Hidden Shrine, the Ghost Tower of Inverness, which I believe was the first module that came with these more colorful covers, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it was one of the first. C2, this was another tournament module, not run at a tournament, but intended to be run as a tournament. It has pre-generated PCs. It's got not a whole booklet of illustrations, but it does have these visual aids that you're supposed to show to the players. So it seems like they were kind of getting away from the illustration book concept a little bit at a time. Obviously, they didn't stop doing it altogether. We see it in Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, for example. This one is a little more well-defined in terms of scenario. The PCs are hired by Ernst to go and investigate and return a particular MacGuffin called the Soul Gem. It does present one of the best NPCs called the Seer, who just kept, in my campaign, just kept coming up in different places as the as kind of the worker behind the scenes manipulating things. This is a lot more straightforward. There are very traditional type puzzles, like chessboard rooms and things like that. It's much of a more straightforward scenario, I think. There's the room with the jewel, and you got to figure out how to, what sections, what's the pattern of its blasting the different sections in the room. There are just very, like I say, it's just a very straightforward, exactly what you would expect from the late 70s and early 80s in terms of design, which is not a bad thing, because obviously that's when it came out. So that's exactly what I would expect. Alan Hammock, did exactly what he was supposed to do with this kind of module. And this is another one that has both a tournament and campaign way of playing the module, which I really like that. Not a lot in terms of the PCs that are in here. They're very straightforward. Lembu the fighter and Li Han the monk and so forth. They give their name and their armor class and saving throws and stuff like that. But it's on the whole, it doesn't feel as well developed as Tamoachan, but it's still a very fun module, and it's got pretty straightforward maps and such. Of the pair, I personally obviously prefer Tamoachan, just because it's a more unique, and it feels a bit more fleshed out and polished. It's a bit less obvious, I guess is the word, in terms of this is a competition module. But that's not to disparage Inverness. I liked Inverness a lot, and it's well situated. It's right off the coast of the Woolly Bay, right by the Aber Isles and the Bright Desert in that region, whereas Tamoachan is much further south, obviously, in the Ulman lands. But on the whole, I really enjoyed both of these modules back in the day. DM'd them both several times. There's a lot of takes a lot of intelligent play from the players to get through them satisfactorily. Let me know what you think of these modules in the comments. Did you play them back in the day or DM them? If so, what did your players do? And if you enjoy this module, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. There's a Patreon, and there's a web store, and there's a link to the blog with all kinds of free stuff down in the description. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Have a great day.